Yeah, you're right. Extreme close-up.
Look at face.
Yeah, I know where to go. There's a man on there.
That'll get some views.
Into the music
Where they all at though?
Hi.
For the community with great advice. I know who I should go see.
Who's that?
Show.
That's where I go for the latest band and
Down radio show.
There we go.
It's the all around town radio.
We're on the air. Hey, welcome to Hot Topic Tuesday, everybody. We'll be right back in just a minute with joy, judgment, F-bombs, food. You got food?
I know.
Oh, wow. How about that?
It's the Weekend Review. It's a Bible coming for you.
Coming for you.
Oh, look at that picture.
Look at that lady.
Yes. All right, let's kill this theme song. Thank you, sweet sister Mercy. Oh, we've got people chiming in already. Let's see who's here.
Right.
Look who's first.
Mr. Tolles.
Isn't that sweet? Kevin
Yes,
Tolles
Hi,
in the
Kevin,
house.
Together. Roger, Jim, Daniel, the Wanderers.
Everybody. Daniel.
Erica,
Daniel
how's the
again.
bathroom coming along?
What did you say?
She's getting her bathroom remodeled.
Oh, I thought you said, how's your going to the bathroom coming
Hey,
along?
how's taking a shit going for you, Erica?
Yes, isn't that
I'm
special?
Megan. I'm excited too.
Boom.
Yeah, we
What
got
are you
matching
saying?
shirts.
Yes, our friend from Rock House, Mr. Bob Klein, and he may be in Key West. I don't know.
Is he?
I think so, but he'll probably pop in here at some point, or he'll watch at some point and say something. But you fill your glasses out much better than I do. Mine just kind
Right
of
on my titties.
my wrinkle right here at the south face of Mount Hall. There we go. There it is. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am just. If I was any better, I'd be twins today. That'd be
Oh.
scary, wouldn't it?
Well, we don't need too many of us running around.
No, we do not. Let's see who else. Megan Miller. Yes, Megan Miller is here.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Sunday too, Megan. It's going to be so much fun. And we're going to talk about it on the show tomorrow at noon. If you want to join us, I don't know if we have any special guests or not. We were talking about it, but if we don't, it'll be Karis and I and the lovely Kathy Laverde.
Yeah. I don't know if they can do it. I think they were checking their schedules.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what shakes. Hi, Valerie. And started the tile today, Erica said.
Nice.
Thank you, Erica. Chris Casey, how are you? Thank you for being with us. What a wonderful time I had at the Jam last Thursday, I must say.
It was fun, wasn't it?
It was. And Ed celebrating Ed's birthday, just so much
I
fun.
love Ed. And it was okay that Bill didn't bring pie.
It was not okay.
No.
You bitched about that for an hour.
No, way more than an hour.
Well, that's true. You were jonesing for some pie, literally.
And then Kevin showed up on Saturday with a pie.
Kevin did. Kevin
Yeah,
Tolles.
he brought a pie.
What a
And
nice
I ate it
guy.
all, and then I got really sick.
Do you see what's here?
Oh,
Oh, that will keep my blood sugar up that day, Bill. Thank you.
that's
It's
awesome.
gonna be a long day, but we're gonna have fun.
Very long day, but that's okay.
What's up,
All in the
Chad?
name for charity.
It is. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Hey,
Yeah.
Today's hot topic. You don't even know about it yet. Hold on. I've got to find, first of all, my favorite banner. right here that says today's hot topic is a viewer submission and does not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our host or sponsors. There.
I sponsor.
You sponsor today.
Bell of the
You're
Bear
it.
sponsor. It's a Bell of the Bear.
The bell of the
bell
bear.
of the bear.
Okay. So let's see here. Do you want to do the? I have two. I have a first one that is kind of lengthy, and then another one that's from a band that I think is very good. Ask a good question. So I don't know. You pick.
Do the one that's a good question.
Okay, we'll start with that one, and then if we get to the other one, we do. If not, we'll save it for another day.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
So what I've got here, let me see. I'm going to read it word for word because I don't want to misquote this thing. I got a message today that says, might be too late, but I have a topic. What should bands charge? I know the whole worth thing is what Ceris says, but some bars try to talk you down and you know you are worth more. I thought that was very interesting because worth is a relative term depending on who's interpreting that. So I don't know.
Worth is an opinion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right.
I mean, I think I'm worth $1 million to do
And
this
you
show.
should. I think everybody should walk
Yeah.
around thinking that they are worth a gazillion dollars. And I
Yes.
think every band should walk around thinking that they are worth a gazillion dollars. Or you shouldn't, I mean, or don't, hopefully you're not going out trying to play for money, because then that would mean you're kind of fucking somebody over. If you don't think you're very good, but you're asking to be paid for something that you're not very good for, well, that doesn't seem like a very good deal. But let's talk about worth then, because what you think you're worth, that's based on a personal opinion. And then what a venue or the person that's paying for you thinks your product is worth are two very different things. You may think you're worth, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, okay? Also, Brad, I have something to say about you. I want to say something about that guy because wow. But good wow. But what you think you're worth and what your product is worth to a venue are two very different things. And if you don't see the separation in there, that is going to cause a bit of an issue. That is telling me that your ego and your emotions are driving what you're doing. And then unfortunately, business has to dominate because business is still business. Nobody gives a shit about your emotions or your ego when it comes to trying to generate income. So I think it's really important to understand the difference. If you're going around and charging somebody $3,000 and you're like, we won't take anything less because that's what we're worth. Good. That's amazing. I'm so happy that's what you're worth. Take care. It's been great chatting with you.
Doesn't mean anything other than it doesn't fit your budget.
Doesn't fit my budget.
Yeah.
Now, I had somebody come to me last week who is worth probably a couple $1,000s, but they came to me and they're like, we really want to play your venue. We recognize that you are a small venue. We recognize that you cannot pay us what this larger venue that we usually play pays us. We recognize that you cannot pay us what these outdoor venues or festivals are paying us. So let's work together and come up with a price. Man, I got to tell you, that was like music to my ears, because I was like, and I said, I don't want you guys taking anything that you feel uncomfortable with. They came back with a number so low that I said to them, I get what you're doing. But you're completely underpaying yourself. So I bumped it up a couple more $100. And I said, let's move up from there. If you do well, then I'll even put more on top of that. But let's just, because it's an out of town band. And I was really excited to book them as well. That was one instance. That's somebody, they knew their worth, but they also knew that was an opinion. That's not business. The business part of them was to say, let's work together and come up with a price that works. That's the business part, not the emotional part. Now, I had this is 2 weeks. Oh, I had a band play a couple of weeks ago. They didn't bring me anybody. My numbers on that day were lower than what my Thursday numbers are. And this was for a Friday. Okay. This person, I reached out because I always give people at least 2 chances. And I reached out and I said, would you like to have another date in February? And this person says to me, we'd love to play there, but we won't accept anything less than this higher number. And I said, well, here's the deal. You didn't generate me enough business. This is what we made at the door. This is what our sales were. So it doesn't really make any sense for me to pay you anymore. But I'll give you an option or a deal, and you let me know what you'd like to do. If you want this more money, this amount of money, then I'll give it to you. But if you don't generate me any more business on that day, that will be the last time you play the Bell and the Bear. Is that what you would like? And he said, yeah, that's what I want. So he concentrated on that one number.
One and done.
One done. And I can almost guarantee you that's because he thinks his worth is up here and nothing else below matters. And I can almost guarantee you that will be their last time playing my bar. And I laughed because it reminded me of a story. I'm sure everybody has heard about the compound effect, like the compounding effect in life. That's investment. How do you start small and you build and you build and you build and you build, right? So you just made a deal to make one night worth one thing, opposed to building and making 10, 20 times, 30 times what you could have made to build a relationship, to build a following, and to get your name out there even more. And it's not like I was underpaying them by a lot, just what I could afford. And if they had done well, I would have given them what they originally what they asked for. And it's like that story, I don't know if anybody's heard of it, of the father that says to their 2 sons, you can either inherit $1 million or a penny a day that gets doubled every single day for 30 days, or just $1 million. And by the end of the 30 days, the one guy still just had $1 million. He actually had less because he was trying to, he had to pay people to try to make all this money. And then by the 30 days, he was under. And the one that took the penny ended up having over $5 million. Because if you double that every single day, whatever that is, I think it was like by like the 24th day or 25th day, he was at, I can't even remember I think I had it actually written down. By day 24, he was at 83,000. And then by day 30, he was at 5 million. You got to fucking build that shit. So your worth, if that's all you're basing your booking on, congratulations. You'll be playing the exact same places and you'll never grow and expand you can't grow as much. You play your festivals and that's amazing. You'll play that, but you have to know that you're alienating so many other places by letting your emotion and your ego control your worth. Which brings me to a question to any performer. What does worth mean to you?
I'm glad you said that. That's what I was going to ask. So
what does worth actually mean to you?
How do you determine your worth?
How do you determine that? Because I can tell you how I determine your worth as a performer. So how do you determine that?
You determine that off a lot of factors, though.
Yeah.
You don't determine that just off the cash register ringing.
No, absolutely not.
Because there are crowds sometimes that just don't spend a lot of money, and the band was fantastic, the night was fantastic, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a given. But how do you determine your worth? How do you define it even?
Yeah.
Because that's a tough word. Worth is, I think we're worth more than that. Well, how do you determine you're worth more than that? I guess it's a question. If you're a musician, please chime in. We want to hear
I'd
from you.
love to know how you determine your worth as a musician. I would like to also give how much I praise research and so Brad from Abe's Lincoln, he's playing my bar in November. He reached out to me, and I know it was a short answer, so I apologize for that. I'm just slammed. But he reached out to me let me see if I can find that. And he said, "Hey, Ceris, we have about a month before Abe Lincoln's November 8th show. So November 8th. I'm wondering if you prefer to touch base with new bands prior to them playing. And if so, is there a time when you're there this or next week, early or late afternoon, where it's not busy? I'd be happy to come in, buy a cocktail, and connect to make sure I have all your expectations. And if not, that's okay." And I thought to myself, I don't think a venue owner could ask for anything more, to be completely honest with you. Like,
that's a pro move right there.
That's a pro move. You've got me hanging there. Like, all I thought at that moment was, man, I can't wait to build this relationship with them. Because
you're going to love that band, by the way. You're going to love them.
I know. That's what I heard. I'm going to love them.
You are. I'm going to vouch for that band right now because I've seen them. They're fantastic.
No, so Chad, there is no going rate for local bands. There's no starting point.
It is so all over the place, Chad. I mean,
it's so all over the place because a band for a venue like mine that holds 165 people is not the same as a venue that as an outdoor festival. So no, there's no going rate. And the problem is for the people that think that it is the same going rate, that's when you alienate yourself. So no, there is no going rate. There's no starting point. There isn't.
Let's see what Megan's got to say here.
I'll tell you why, Megan.
Interesting. That's interesting. Yes.
I'm going to tell you why, in my opinion, and that's because of you. You have made yourself over the last 2 years front and center and present. Your social media, you're going out there, coming to the jam, putting yourself out there. You have become, this band's been around a hell of a lot longer than just 2 years, but you've really splashed the last 2 years or year and a half because you have made an effort to put yourself out there. It makes a big difference, huge difference. You're making an effort. You're doing the shit that needs to be done.
There are some bands I really admire, and I'm not going to get into naming them, but they are people like Brad that just did that. And Megan, who, like you said, has marketed her band and herself in a manner that has put them on the map. And people are coming, at least to me, and saying, what do you know about Cassette Junkies? Or what do you know about Abe's Lincoln? And that means they're on the map. That means somebody's noticing them. And there are so many bands out there that just fly under the radar, don't have any social media presence, any of that, and they don't get noticed. And it's really cool to see people put some effort into it. And the worth thing, that brings your worth up in my book.
Yeah.
If you act like that, it brings your worth up. But it's hard because there is no scale. There's no union scale for bands or any of that. So, you can't really base. I know some great bands that play for $500 or $600. They're fantastic.
They are fantastic.
And some bands that play for $2,000 that aren't worth a shit.
Oh, agreed.
I mean, that think they are, but they're not. And then people lately, nothing in the world gets 100% increase other than your electric bill. Mean, you can't jump from this year and say, oh, next year we're going to book and I want double what we made last year. It's not going to happen, people.
It's not going to happen.
Get your head out of the sand or whatever.
Damon Abner says there's a few cover bands I play in, and most of the time, if not all situations, $1,000 is a minimum for us. There is plenty of work at that point. I will say $1,000 is definitely the average of what I'm seeing. But Damon, let me ask you, there is plenty of work, and that is amazing. Does that mean that do you not care with that statement? Do you not care if the venue you're trying to play with is also making money? Like, is that a consideration for you? If the venue has offered you a chance to, if it does well, build a relationship, build a following, does that not interest you because there are other places,
Damon, what band are you into? I'd like to know. I'm not real clear on that. So, yeah, let's get to those questions if you can answer those, Damon. John Wright, thanks for watching from Ireland, my friend. Thank you so much. Having a Guinness in Ireland, that'd be a nice little trip. And Megan thinks it does make a huge difference, Megan. And what you're doing, it's work, but it's effort that's important to your band.
Yeah, Kathy's got a good point. It has to be, like, first of all, a good deal is a deal that makes sense for everybody involved, not just one person. So if I'm supposed to pay you more, if you're asking for a raise and I'm supposed to pay you more, what am I getting in return? Am I getting more people? Am I getting new songs as well with the new people? How am I making more money off of you? Because I'm supposed to give you more money. So how am I supposed to how do I get more out of because I'm paying you more now? Because I don't think anybody has any idea how much it actually costs to have.
We'll get to that too. We're going to get to that today. That's on the other comment that we got, or the other question. But I want to touch, I do want to say, I love what Kathy wrote there. What is your return on investment? If I up your price $500 more, what's the return I'm going to get on my investment? That's business 101. You go to business class first day. You got to have a return on your investment eventually. It might take time, but
that's compounding effect, right?
Yes.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is somebody's saying to me, we'd love to play your venue, but we won't accept less than 1,000. I'm just saying that number because that came up. Okay. Well, I'll give you a chance to make that make sense, because some places this is what I'm saying. When you play venues that can hold more than 160 people, it's probably a lot easier, and that is more in your genre. It's probably a lot easier for those venues to make sense, right? And if you don't care about, there's a lot of bands that don't necessarily want to play the Bell and the Bear, so they're not really willing to budge a little bit on that. Which is fine. If you don't want to play the bar, then I understand why you're not willing to budge. But if you are, and then you're going to give us say, well, they're not willing to pay us what we want, so we're not going to go there. Well, were you willing to build a partnership with me, a relationship with me? If I'm not making money off you, if it's costing me money to have you, why am I paying you more? If you can't hit Friday night numbers or Saturday night numbers, why am I going to give you more?
I think it's a valid question. I mean, it's a
valid question. I'm willing to give you a second go. I'm willing to give you all that. Then why? But that would be your last go. So sure, I'm going to give you what you want, but then that's it. And then that means, in my opinion, you're missing out on the future. If you chose to take that extra $200, $300, and that's your last gig, you just missed out on a lot more, because eventually, probably after the third or fourth time, you would have built a relationship and you would have gotten all that money anyways, and that $1,000 would have come quicker.
Let's talk a variety of things here. What Tina said is there's so many variables to the worth of a band, and one of them being right now the current climate in alcohol sales. It has cut the profits down significantly in a lot of venues, and all the venue owners are talking about that. They are. The other thing is, you can be a fantastic band and come from out of town to another town and draw no one.
That's the thing.
that variable's in there too, because I watched
100%.
Angela Combs this weekend played Heather's, and God love her. She gave the show of a lifetime as always, like she does. And it just wasn't the crowd because, again, the people that were there who saw Angela for the first time, the terms were wow, fantastic, amazing, all those things. But people look at who's playing somewhere and they're like, oh, I don't know that band. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's
Hey,
sad.
I forgot that who you're with. So let's talk about that. You said taking less than we're worth in our eyes. So but we do that to make the owner happy and to prove ourselves. Your worth in your eyes is it's important. It's extremely important. And don't ever lower that worth by any means. However, what is your product, not you, not your talent, your product as a business, as me having a business? How do I make money off of you? What are as a consumer, are you worth what you're asking? Not your talent, not you as a person. But unfortunately, my business runs off of sales, of drink sales. My business runs off who comes in the door. So you may be worth in your mind, and you are, because you're incredibly talented, what you're asking. But does that make sense for a business if they're not making any money off you, no matter how talented you are? That's the thing. And it's not an insult for a venue. Now, I'm not talking about venues who try to fuck over musicians. I'm talking about venues who legitimately go, you're good. You're extremely good. But it's not hitting the bottom line. The bottom line is not matching up with your personal worth. So it has to make sense for me. And that's where relationship growth is important. Do you want to build a relationship where your worth also makes sense to the bar till they can meet? Because right now, there's no meet. And that takes time. That takes building a relationship.
Read Scotty Bratcher's comment. It's spot on.
It's spot on. Scotty Bratcher's been doing this for years. Venues making money helps ensure we do business well together more than once. And that's the key. And that's the fucking key.
Don't you think there are bands today who are doing the one and done? They're just trying to grab the brass ring while they can grab it and say, oh, we charge $2,000 and maybe make that $2,000. And it's like, I can't afford them. I just lost $1,000 tonight.
But that's what I'm talking about. There's no compounding effect with them. They'd rather take that money right away and then that's it. Not build, but they're losing out on thousands and thousands of dollars by not making adjustments to build that relationship. And if you don't give a shit, then fuck, good. And that's okay. That's okay.
Tina, there's another variable.
That's
the Ohio State game. And that was on Saturday night. And people were like, oh, we're going to have a house party tonight. We're going to have everybody over and watch it, sit on our couches and watch. I mean, that's fine if that's what you want to do, but it does hurt the entertainment industry. Anytime those games are on.
Oh, it does. Brad, he says, to me, the equation has three variables: financial results, customer experience. Is the band easy to work with, inclusive of promotion? And those variables have different weight for different venues at the discretion of the owners. Every single venue is different. Every single situation is different. And that needs to be taken in effect. That needs to be understood. Brad would not charge, I can tell you just by the way Brad has handled his business and his maturity level, would not charge me a bar. He knows the difference between a bar that can hold around 165 people and a festival that can hold 3,000 people. He's not going to charge me the same price.
No.
And he knows he doesn't have to make money.
And he shouldn't.
Because that festival is going to happen once a year. But I'll probably, if we build this great relationship, I'll probably be booking him 3-4 times a year and he'll have made his money.
Josh Baker's chiming in here. Let's see what he's got to say from ATP. We always work with places. We usually start with a low price to show what we have, and if it goes well, that's exactly what Kara said earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. And it's so hard to define that word worth. It really is. If you guys have a definition in your mind, I mean, Brad just kind of defined it to me in his comment, but it's a tough word. And a lot of bands says, well, we're worth more than that. Well, tell me why.
Why are you worth more than that?
And maybe you'll get it. You know?
Tell me why you think you're worth that, and then make it make sense for the venue. Find me the connection in the venue. And when you do that, don't make it emotional. Don't make it about your ego. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I have to make money off you for you to play my venue. And if you're going to charge me something more, and I'm not going to, so we're here. You charge me this. I made this. You want more money. I make less money.
That's not compounding.
We're going the opposite direction.
No,
Eventually, I'm coming back up here and you're not going to be playing the bell. And if that's us, and that's okay if you don't want to. There's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't make me cheap. That doesn't make me an asshole. That makes it a business decision. And you made a choice. I want that $1,000 or I want that $2,000 one time. I don't care about building a relationship. You've just missed out on thousands because eventually you would have gone that. Fuck, Megan or lots of bands. When I have a great night, I give you the money. I give you more than you ask me for. I'm not trying to rip you off. I'm trying to have it make sense for both people because a good deal is for both people involved, not just one.
Do you know what I'd like to happen with the worth thing? If somebody said that to me as a venue owner and said, well, we're worth more than that. Okay, then show me your worth. Guarantee me you're going to put 100 asses in seats that night. And then in reality, bring me 150 and surprise me. And then you're worth it. But that doesn't happen. I mean, very rarely. I mean, there's artists who can say that. They can say, book me and you will fill the room. There are artists who can say that. But there are artists who can't either because they don't hit those variables like promoting and, you know, events, social media events and all those things that go on. It's a pain in the ass, but you got to do it. Scotty says, big difference in playing a gig and having a career. Yes.
Scotty and I talk about this all the time.
Hi, Vanessa.
Scotty has a very realistic grasp on what makes sense. He's been around a long time. He is one of the best out there, but he doesn't allow his ego to override reality. He knows that his talent is worth, and I know that his talent is worth $1 million. But when it comes to business, those are two very different things. Worth isn't it's just a fact. It's got to meet. And if I can't make money off you, then your personal idea of what your worth is, it's unfortunately irrelevant.
Tina, thank you for bringing that up too. John was talking about when Ohio State plays in Columbus, no entertainment goes on. It's just the game and everybody's watching the game. And Tina says, yes, you never know their schedule when you're booking bands.
You don't.
And then all of a sudden it's this big game at 7:30 at night on a Saturday. And you just hired a top shelf band. It's expensive and you just screwed yourself as an owner. You do. And you can't get out of it at that point. I mean, you can't say, well, we're just going to cancel. A lot of people are doing it.
And that's shitty.
Which is wrong, but you shouldn't do that. And yeah, hold on. I'm trying to see comments here. Carlos says businesses support each other fluctuating. Yes. Scotty, it's all retail. A store would not sell a product for less money than they paid for it. Amen. Big picture here. The storefront where the product, you can't afford to lose money on purpose. Again, there's a pro and a guy who's been there, done that. And it's interesting. What's Tina say?
Yeah,
No, no,
nobody's
too.
expecting. Chad said, Scott, I get your point, and I was thinking about that earlier, but I don't think it's possible for anyone to guarantee that they can bring X number of people.
It's not.
Not.
It's not. That was just a philosophical little blip in my head there. But it'd be, if you could do that, it'd be great.
Yeah, there's no guarantee about anything, which is why it's important to work with the venue.
That's what I'd like to say to people, though, that say I'm worth more than what they're paying me. Well, prove to me why you're worth more. I mean, that's all I want you to do is tell me why you're worth more. I'm not arguing that your band's worth $1,500. I'm not going to argue that fact. I'm going to argue the fact that you got paid $1,500. You did no advertising. You walked in and you played for the evening to no one. And so I lost money. And it happens more than you think, especially the bigger the bands get, the less they promote and the less it's baffling to me. Some of them.
It is baffling. Bill's got a good comment. Bands wanting booked need to realize there's an abundance of music choices in the Cincinnati-Dayton area. Supply and demand. You can price yourself out of the market. 100%.
Hell yes.
And that's the thing. Like Angela Combs went to where you
Heathers.
guys are,
Yeah.
Heathers, and didn't bring the crowd that she would have brought in Cincinnati.
Right.
So and that's important to realize. So when somebody from like your neck of the woods tries to come to our neck of the woods and is asking the same price or more because I have to pay them for travel time, you're not going to bring me anybody. And so that, and then I have to compete with the surrounding venues that have music, which local people already know them. So they usually go with what they know. So now I'm paying a premium for something that I automatically am losing my regulars and new people because they have to travel 45 minutes and they may walk through the door, but they're not drinking because they're not going to get drunk and drive 45 minutes and then compete with everybody. You've got to be, it can't be the same price all the way around, and your personal worth can't be the determining factor of what you charge. It's got to make sense for everybody. And there's nothing wrong with a band saying to me, this is what we charge and that's it. Okay, that's okay. Okay, I can't afford that. No hard feelings, man. I just can't afford that. And if that person wants to work with me on it, cool. If they don't, cool. No loss, like whatever. But you can't,
there are so many variables to all this. And a perfect example was Friday night. I wanted to go to the Madison Theater and see Gina and the girls from Beale Street and all that were there. They were great on the show. And I thought, man, I really want to go down there. But then I get to thinking, well, I can't get out of here till this, and I can't get there, and I got traffic in Cincinnati and all those things. Then I got to find a place to park. There's so many things in your mind that are like, make your decision on where you're going to go. And what I said about Angela was fantastic the other night, but none of the Cincy people came north. In fact, many of them that follow her were probably at the Madison Theater watching Gina and that group.
Right.
So it's really difficult to figure all this out, but I despise the term worth because I don't think you can define it. There's many other ways. Our band, do we command that money? No, I mean, we really don't, but I've got a band and I think we're worth this amount of money. And like you said, Ceris, stand by what you believe in about yourself. And you should feel like you're very worth getting paid. And I know what equipment costs and I know all that stuff. But there's also something that people forget in the venue side of things, what it costs to put a show on.
Oh yeah. It's not cheap. No.
And had a nice comment from another venue owner from up my way who was touting what we do on the show, saying it's great. Thank you. But he says the same thing. People don't realize what it costs for door security, to pay that person, to pay your bar backs and to pay people to clean. And even the peripheral stuff that goes on after the show, the cleanup, the restroom cleaning the next day, all that stuff goes into having a big show. And you're going to come off a Saturday night and have a big fundraiser event on Sunday. You got to get everything ready and done. So the bar owner has so much to do.
It's
It's insane.
Really underestimated. Joshua, I hope you're listening. He says, question, do you guys think traveling an hour away should also be a factor in pay? And whose pay? Because I'm going to guarantee you that that venue that's paying you and that's an hour away is not going to make any more money off of you.
No, and I got to give Josh props. When they came up to Heather's and played, and I know they're kind of in between, but they played Heather's, they brought a huge crowd. It was their crowd, which is very unusual, honestly, for a band that travels 25 to 30 to 50 miles. I mean, it's just not the norm.
But we can agree the most of the time they're not bringing a crowd.
No. So,
and sometimes, and I mean no disrespect, but usually the first time they bring a crowd and then the next time they don't. Like I'm going to give Ladder props. First of all, they're an incredible band, but they always brought people. They played, I think, 3 times, and they brought people each time. Unfortunately, it still didn't make sense for my register because they also charged me a premium because they had to travel. And that just didn't make sense because I'm losing money automatically because there's other local bands that are playing in the surrounding area that my regulars are going to go to. And then I'm being charged a premium. So again, I'm losing money. So, unfortunately, it doesn't make sense, which is why I've really cut back on booking out of town bands because I just end up losing money. And, but I don't want them to lose money either. It's got to, like I said, it's got to work for both people,
Damon, not at all about your comments. Your comments were very good. And thank you for those. Nobody's offended by anything.
No. Nobody's offended by anything.
Not at all.
No, not at all. But I do believe that's what your going rate is. But sometimes things need to be adjusted, and not because you're not worth your going rate or more, but because it doesn't make sense business wise. And it should be a care for the band if they want to start making more money. It needs, this thing, that's what I don't know how to explain that, but
well, it's the scale. I mean, it's the bag of money versus the band, it's here. Right. And can you at least balance the scale? And Ceris, you've been in this business long enough to know this. What do you do when you get a phone call from that promoter who says, oh, I've got this great band. They're routing through your area and we want to book them in your venue. I mean, they're routing, they're doing their thing and all that. And if you want to lose money, that's a great way to lose money, is to say, okay, I've got this Nashville artist who's coming through Dayton, Ohio, and tonight they're available on a Thursday. Can we book them in there? Very rarely does that ever work.
Yeah. My answer is no.
Yeah. I mean, one guy opened one time, Charlie Bonnet, who did a fantastic job.
He's amazing.
And he's kind of mastered some of that, but for the most part, you're unknown. I mean, I've seen Garth Brooks' daughter goes traveling through these cities and plays. And if you don't, and she doesn't like to be promoted as Garth Brooks' daughter. So if you don't promote her as that, you're not going to have anybody there.
Not going to have anybody there.
If you say she's Garth Brooks' daughter, yeah, you might,
Yeah, I had one Nashville band that wanted to play. I knew the guy, his booking agent. I knew the guy. Usually I don't even respond because I can't stand it. But it was a short show. They didn't charge me. I asked how much. They didn't charge me. They're like, let's just do it just because, like, this is, they were touring and they just really wanted to play. I mean, that's a great deal for me. I don't know, that's fine. But yeah, usually no, I'm not booking that one day show. Sorry, that's going to make me no money. Like it doesn't matter how good you think you are. Doesn't matter even how good you are. You could be the most talented artist in the fucking world. Does it translate on my register? No, sorry.
No, it doesn't. And you've proved that a few times, giving people a chance. The guy that came from Lexington, what was his name? It was great. He came up to the jam a couple times and then you booked him. And unfortunately, Lexington's 2 hours away. And
Sorry.
as Dewey just said, if I had a dime for every time I've had friends bail on me seeing an out of town band in Cincinnati. It's like, oh, I think I'll go over here to the Naughty Pine tonight and see my favorite band who's in there. I mean, that's what they're going to do.
You have to realize, and a lot of these, and this is why a lot of these new bands coming in hard with these higher numbers, not even willing to budge, or just with these higher numbers, you're competing with bands that have been around a long time, that have established a following. They have a following. That following pays my bills. You as a new band are not paying my bills. So asking me for more money doesn't translate. We're going the opposite direction now.
Thanks for that comment, Liz.
Yeah, Liz, 100%. It does. And that's my point. There's so many good bands to choose from. What makes you their choice? What's going to make you their choice?
And if there's a musician out there that can define the word worth in the music business, you're worth more than that. That used in a sentence, please do. I want to hear it. I want to know what your definition of it is, because no one can really tell me what that means.
And that's the question. Tell us, what do you think worth means? Tell us what that means. I'm dying to know. I can tell you what worth means as a business owner. Let me tell you something. 99.9% of the bands and musicians that have played my stage on a Friday or Saturday night or a Wednesday night are worth thousands of dollars. By opinion. Opinions mean shit. Your emotion, you making emotional
thank you, Ed. That was in the name.
Mean shit.
I need Ed on the
You
show.
know you're good. That's why you're playing the stage. That doesn't equal your pay, though, unfortunately.
Okay, David Linda, hold it. David Linda says you are worth what you produce.
On stage.
My man, David.
For that venue. Not just because you produce for one venue doesn't mean you're going to produce for another venue.
Yes, and Ed, thank you for the Boogie G comment. That's who I was referring to.
Yeah,
and
Boogie G's amazing.
He is amazing, but didn't bring anybody because he's 2 hours away.
Willie Phoenix, one of my favorite musicians, hands down. Just, oh my God, he's incredible. Incredible. Comes from Columbus, makes me zero money. It costs me.
Mm-hmm. And
not
that's
because he's not amazing. He is worth thousands.
And that's what's interesting. But I'm going to use an example. Shane DeMoss developed a band this year called Half-Life. Half-Life is an incredible band. They're fantastic. And what he has done is tried to branch out further than the local market that he's in. But you know what he's doing right? He's promoting the living crap out of it. If he's going to go play somewhere, I mean, in lieu of buying a bus and hauling people there, he's doing everything in his power to get people to come to these gigs that are a little further away. Now, like Tina said, water, please, because when people travel an hour and they got to drive an hour, they're not going to partake in the adult beverages like they did if they were close to home. I mean, you know that. We all know that.
Right.
Yes. And there's a whole lot of stuff. Danielle from Satches. How are you doing, Danielle? Thank you for being here. Let's
Danielle,
see what she's got to say.
excellent comment. So I like to think of the Naughty Pine and I, the east and west of music venues. And they were there one night during my Matching Madness. And we were talking about what bands work well there and what bands just don't work well here and vice versa. And it's insane because bands that pack my place don't do it over there. That's why it has to be different for every venue.
Robert says, are some bands worth taking on some of the financial risks that they are asking the venue owners to assume? Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, let's face it, in the music business, and it's been that way since time, the venue owners have taken a majority, 80, 90% of the risk involved in all of it. They're agreeing to pay the band to be there. They're saying, let's hope it doesn't snow 7 inches that night and screw everybody's world. I mean, there's so many variables to all of it.
There is. I'm sorry, but I don't think people realize how much it costs to have live music.
Thank you, Liz.
A $25,000 music,
Sound system.
Sound system.
Yes.
$25,000 sound system to my venue to try to make it easier on the bands and have my own sound guy. I've invested in a house set of drums. That's just that much of the cost of having live music. And I'm not putting that on the bands. I'm not asking them to pay for the choices that I made. I know what my bar is worth to me as an opinion, as an emotion. But I can't make you pay for that. What I'm asking is for you to make it make sense for me to book you. You're probably worth $5,000 based on talent. But if it doesn't translate, it doesn't matter what you think you are worth.
Amen. I got to put this up here. Hang on. Let me find it here. I was just screwing around,
right.
But
exactly.
Thank you, Liz.
My bar isn't
Josh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh. Here. Your bar isn't a charity, it's a business. Liz Jackson. Thank you, Liz. I just put you in quotes.
Yeah.
Because that is no truer words have been spoken today. And David, Linda, your comment was spot on as well.
Yeah.
Worth is such a broad term. It really is such a broad term. What did Josh say? Are you reading his?
Yeah, I'm reading it right now. Horrible for the bar. I could care less about us. Just felt because, yeah. Listen, I don't hold that against you, Josh. I always take in the time of year, or anything like that. You did. The first time they played, it was busy. And that's what I remember. And I'm going to book them in 2026 because they're a pleasure to work with. They're not trying to take advantage of me. They're not overcharging me. They understand, they get it. And fuck, I like them. They're good people. You know me. I like to work with good people.
Absolutely. All right. I think we're about out of time. Unfortunately, today we have beat this horse hard, and there's so many other things. We're going to do another show about the cost that it cost a bar to put on a show. And Tina just mentioned music licensing again, all that other stuff that people don't think about. They don't have a clue to that if they're just the normal patron walking into a bar, what it costs to put that on. And I'm trying to get to the rest of the comments here. What's Casey Gomez got to say?
Okay.
Worth is defined by the fan base, the draw, the effort involved in producing the show, entertainment. Also, as a creative in general, worth is defined by the artist.
Gomez, CFG and the Family is the most. This, if you can give me 5 more minutes, is the most perfect example. In my opinion, CFG and the Family is one of the greatest bands to ever play my stage. I think all of them are incredibly talented. I get chills. Casey's voice, his harmonica, fucking Mason Johnson, the whole Greg, all of them. They give me chills. They are fucking phenomenal. Okay? To me, they are worth, I wish I could pay them thousands of dollars because to me, that's what they're worth. Let's be realistic, though, and Casey knows the truth. Casey knows this is not an insult to him. They don't pack my place. They bring some people, but here's the problem. They bring a good amount of people, but they're coming from the west, from Hamilton. So there's not a lot of drinking, right? There's not that much drinking. Now, the B&B crowd loves them too. And I always hope that there isn't an Under the Sun or a Miss Jackie playing here because then we have to compete with that. But CFG is the most perfect example. Now they bring more people than a lot of other bands that, but they don't pack my place. I don't make a shit ton of money off them. But I will fucking book them every single year because they are fucking phenomenal. And they don't outprice themselves. They make it doable. They make it make sense. They make it doable. And I love them for that. I love them for many reasons, but I love them for that too.
I've got a CFG funny just to say about your comment there, though. They bring people to your bar and they're not necessarily drinking, not because they're far away, because they're all smoking weed. That's all I got to say.
That's a different subject.
Let's get to that. But yes,
crushed the bar industry. It has.
It really has.
Wine wants to take away the THC drinks. It has crushed. Alcohol sales are down 32%. It has crushed us. But nonetheless, CFG is worth their weight in gold. Like they're fucking
100%. 100%. Thank you guys all for your comments today. It's been a great interactive show. We appreciate you being a part of this. Hopefully we open the door for some conversations and for people to do a little mirror self-check and say, what am I worth? I saw some good definitions of worth. Thank you for that. And
when you ask yourself, what am I worth? Your second question should be, what is my product worth to the venue? If you give a shit, if you want to be booked there. Ask two questions.
I saw David Linda play and he says, you're worth what you produce. Yeah. Saw him play last week on Friday night with his band Last Call. He's also in Barely Able. But last Call packed the place. It was standing room only and they were worth it.
Mike Killen, size of the venue has to play into it as well. If your venue can't comfortably hold the volume of people, can't afford much for the band. Thank you. If I can, 165 people, you're charging me $2,000. I'm going to need you to play I'm going to need to triple the size of my venue.
And that works both ways too. That's where venue owners, some of them are trying to book way too big a band in a venue that doesn't hold enough space to make any money. I mean, they call it loss leaders in like retail, but you can't be a loss leader every weekend. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So Dewey said, I think Dewey was talking about my comment about Casey's followers, but guys, thank you so much. It's been a great show. You're wonderful. We appreciate you very much. I'd love to see you at the Bell and the Bear on Sunday for Women Who Rock. This is going to be an epic event. And if you cannot be there on Sunday, please consider looking for the QR codes online and making a little donation because every dollar gets matched.
Every dollar, even if it's $1, $2, $3, doesn't matter. Consider donating, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if just the 1,000 people that'll watch this show would donate $1 to that, we're gonna have $2,000 right there. So It's that simple, guys. And thank you, Heather, for being here. All you guys had great comments today. And we
have our very first songwriter showcase tonight. It's gonna be good.
Kevin's producing. Thank you, Kevin, for remembering that. And hey, I've got an incredible schedule this week too. I'm at the Moose tonight, Miamisburg. Heather's on Wednesday, the Miamisburg Park on Thursday, Friday night at Max Tavern with the Pink Ribbon Girls, Saturday at Miracle Field Baseball, and Sunday I'll be with my friend Ceris at the Bell and the Bear. We're gonna have some great stuff.
Thank you, Danielle. I hope.
Love you, Danielle. Thank you. She's wonderful. And Carla, thank you always for your wonderful comments as well. And
see everybody that's going to the Bell tonight. I'll be there.
Yeah. Thank you. See y'all. Everybody have a great night. Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. We're going to get right out of here. So tomorrow at noon, Women Who Rock live right here. We're going with Wednesday with the band. Join us. Ceris and Kathy and I will be here.
Working for the weekend.